Okay, so welcome to part two. If you've just finished part one, I've explained that we've overviewed, had a quick look at some of the footage from the first 30 Ks of the race. Exciting stuff. You're in the big bunch, but we're about to really start the real racing at the first KOM. It's going to split up. I'm trying to hang on to the fast riders, so stay with me as we look into that, what happens, and at the end of it, go over an overview of the race, just review key points of how it went down, what happened, and what I could have done better. Spoiler alert: I finished the race. I didn't get credited with an official finish because I was 1 minute 50 seconds outside of the hour limit from the winner's finishing time. So we'll have a chat about that. So stay tuned for part two of the video. Now I'm going to show the next section in entirety, because this, particularly if you're giving the Warnie a go and you're not sure, it's your first shot at the Warnie, this is the most important part. It's the most important section. So you're out of Geelong, you turn off the highway and you head down this road here. I can't remember quite what it's called. We'll zoom in, and you're leading towards the first KOM of the day. And it's really important. So the first KOM's on Warrnambool Road, and Google's not telling me what this road is, but you'll see it in a minute. And then you'd make the right-hand turn up here onto Warrnambool Road, and you can see this is the first KOM. It's only about a K or so long, but this is the section that will determine how your day goes, because this is where it splits up. It's really important. Once you make this right-hand turn off the highway and onto this side road, that you get yourself into position as far forward as you can. And as you'll see, it's not so easy in the footage because it's pretty hectic and pretty narrow. So we're riding down Warrnambool Road. This is the feeder road before you turn right into Warrnambool Road with the first KOM. And as you can see, it's pretty tight. There's not a lot of room to move up, so I'm not in great position. I'm towards the rear of the bunch, but that's kind of where I'm stuck. About 30 Ks in, and it's pretty flat here, but in a minute or so we'll turn right, and there are two hills, the second one being the proper first KOM of day, and it's certainly for a rider like me, the most important section of the race, because that's where it splits up. For me, I'm low 80s kilos, 83 kilos or so, and I don't climb as well as some of these guys, although some of the bigger guys seem to have the power to go up these hills pretty quickly. I'm just straight out the back door, really, and from this point on, it's just trying to make the best of the day and get in a bunch and get to the end. So hopefully I get a medal and accredited with the finish. With the Warnie, I'll talk about the rules finishing soon. I'll just let the climb play out first. But yeah, it's a real challenge to get for a rider like me in C grade an official finish. So this is pretty hectic. Fair bit of speed, power being laid down, up towards 500 watts at this point, and I'm about to hit the KOM, so going to need to put down more power. This is probably the hardest part of the day, and it's quite early on, so this is why you really got to train for a race like the Warnie. It sounds obvious, everyone knows it's 270 Ks, but it doesn't. You have to do it to prepare yourself for how hard it is. You don't get to dictate the pace that you want to ride at for 270 Ks. It's not like doing something like 3 peaks where you choose your pace and you grind it out steadily. You've got to be able to just throw it down, doing the watts that you need to hang on to the bunch when they demand that you do that. And that requires obviously a fair bit of training, both for endurance, but particularly for those short VO2 and even anaerobic efforts at pretty high power outputs. and then being able to recover quickly to just do it all over again straight away sometimes. So it's a very demanding race. It's not dead flat. It is pretty flat in overall terms, but you'll get tested out in these sections, and we're about to see that as we move on to the climb shortly. So you can see this is pretty hectic here. Yeah, this is really the bit to watch, I think, for a rider. If you're not an NRS rider, presumably those guys have it a bit easier up those hills and can hang on. And this is the bit that really makes or breaks. So we're out of Geelong. We're about 45 minutes into the race, 40 minutes into the race, 45, 46 actually. And we'll turn right in a sec. And when you make that right-hand turn, that's where you start to go up. You can see one rider signalling. We'll start to go up. There's a little hill, and then downhill, and then the PKOM, which is about, I think it's about a K, 1 kilometre long at about 8%. So this is it. Everyone's out of the saddle. 500, almost 600 watts. And you're thinking to yourself, I've still got another more than 200 Ks to go, so you really don't want to be throwing down any more power than you really need to. But there's not a lot of choice in the matter here, and you can see for me that's just enough. I can't do any more without absolutely breaking the bank. So I'll just have to let it drift away a bit. This is not a hugely steep climb at this point. This is not the KOM yet, by the way, but it's enough to push me off the back just slightly at this point. So pretty much max effort for me. This is the back of the bunch. There's a couple of riders around me, but that's basically it. And we'll crest this. So the sort of rider I am. I've done a fair bit of endurance work, and I can recover from these and keep going, but I don't really have that ability to make 500-600 watt efforts for 2 or 3 minutes. I can't do that, and that's cost me. So I'm good on the downhill. As soon as we hit that, I'll pick up speed pretty quick. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough. No time to rest and recover here. I'm going to hit the KOM start in a minute. So straight past these blokes. You can see the traffic's been blocked off to the left. They can wait for us. And we're onto the KOM. It's about 1k, and now I'm getting passed by the vehicle convoy, so that's not a great sign, a bit like in the pro races, but it's also helpful because I can try and get a bit of protection from the wind, although it's not going to help me at this gradient. This guy's slowed down a bit too much. And I'm just trying to hang on. A couple of guys you'll see ahead put a bit too much effort in, and they'll start to come back to me, which is good, because at this point you need other riders to help. Can't do it all on your own. Now I'm starting to fade a little bit here. I think this guy's had enough. He'll be back. We'll work together, I think. I remember him. So I'm still in the cars. There's a bit of hope. And it's starting to flatten out. So at this point, picking up stragglers, absolute max effort. Can't do much more than this. That's the KOM. Last year we turned left. It's a different course this year. We go straight. There's still a little bit more gentle climbing to do. But that's basically the hill. And from here, there's no time to rest. You've got to collect yourself. That's the KOM top. You've got to collect yourself, find some riders to help, and get in a group and work. So I'm just pedaling up to these guys and then take a rest. Okay, so that was part 2 of the video, which captures the KOM and being a little bit distance. I'll move on to part 3 now, and there's just a little bit of footage of the chase, and that really sets the scene for, if you're a rider like me, what the rest of the race will be. This is only the first 35 k's, and there's another 220 odd to go, 230 odd to go. So part 3 just shows you a little bit about what you would be doing for the rest of the race. So stay with me, click on part 3, and it'll be good.